Our passage today describes us believers as being first fruits. And that is something that actually has its roots going all the way back to the Old Testament. There was this idea that starts all the way in Genesis of when you give a sacrifice to God, you'd give kind of the first fruits. So, like the firstborn of a flock, the first and the best fruits that you would pick from a tree. It's the idea of kind of giving the best to God first before you take for yourself what you need. And this rest of this passage is really kind of built off of that. There's this idea in that verse in verse 18 where we're being described as the kind of first fruits of His creatures. The idea is that us believers are kind of the first sort of wave of this kind of redeemed world, the first kind of step in towards that redemption and that coming of God's kingdom. And with that, there comes some expectations, and the rest of the passage really kind of goes into that, with kind of summing up that sort of the true kind of religion, that religion that is pure, is that one that cares for the orphans and the widows in their distress, and also to keep oneself unstained from the world. And that has been a passage that has been difficult, especially for us Protestants, honestly, because it did sound like, it's encouraging works over faith. It's something that made Martin Luther absolutely hate the book of James. But really, what it's kind of saying is that because we have been saved, there should be this kind of action that comes after that within our own daily walks with God. And part of that is caring for those who are in need, reaching out and helping those who are in trouble at that time, and also living a life that is righteous, that is kind of worthy of God. Because as first fruits, we are expected to be pure, that we are expected to be worthy sacrifices to God, not in the literal sense. We're not going to be, sacrificing anyone in that sort of way, but sort of in the idea that, but the way that we are living, the way that we are living our lives is kind of a sacrifice to God, a kind of a form of worship to God in the same way that sacrifices were done. So I want to encourage you all to live as first fruits, to care for the orphan, to have pure belief within your hearts, to love your neighbor, and also to live a life that is truly righteous, that strays away from sin, that focuses on God, because that is what is expected of us as first fruits, as individuals who are kind of at the forefront of that coming of God's kingdom. And we should be living in a way that lives up to that standard, and in living up to that standard, we will make our Father proud. Amen. And now I'd like to invite you all to join me for our last worship song today.